Move on to business. Stephen is with us here on set. Stephen, you're starting with a warning from the airline industry, aren't you, about transporting a Covid-19 vaccine. Now, this is, of course, once one's been approved.
That's right. The International Air Transport Association says that it'll take thousands of jumbo jets to ship that vaccine around the world. The organisation, which represents 290 airlines, says it will be the biggest transport challenge ever for the air cargo industry. Along with the Vaccines Alliance, Gavi, they're calling on governments to start legal and technical preparations now. This as airlines have dramatically reduced their flight networks during the pandemic and put planes into storage because of the downturn in passenger travel. That's also curtailed the capacity for air cargo.
Now, Facebook, they're facing a new inquiry. This into how it handles European users' personal information.
Ireland's data regulator has begun an inquiry into the movement of data to the United States by the social network. It follows an EU court ruling in July, which struck down the so-called Privacy Shield arrangement, whereby data transfers from the EU to the US were deemed to be legal. This is the first move by a European regulator to enforce that decision. The Irish Data Protection Commissioner sent Facebook a preliminary order to suspend sending information on European users to the United States. It sought the company's response.
Now, one of the country's biggest supermarkets here in France, the chain there announcing job cuts.
That's despite the increase in sales that was seen across the sector during the pandemic. Auchan is cutting over 1,400 jobs as more shoppers go online or use click and collect services. So could the pandemic speed up the death of France's famed hypermarkets? Catherine Viette has more.
It's a sector that's mostly weathered the storm caused by the coronavirus pandemic. Grocery stores and their employees, considered essential businesses, continued to operate during government lockdown. Overall, food sales increased by 2.3% for the first 7 months of the year. That's why the decision by mega chain Auchan to cut 1,475 jobs has caught the unions by surprise.
C'est un peu choquant parce que l'entreprise va mieux. Il y a eu un effet d'aubaine avec le Covid, tant mieux d'ailleurs, puisqu'on a vendu plus de produits rentables, on a fait des plus gros caddies, donc on va quand même moins mal que les années précédentes.
Auchan says the move is necessary because consumers' shopping habits have changed.
Le Covid a d'ailleurs accéléré ces mouvements vers plus de proximité, plus de digital, plus de local, etc. Et nous avons tardé probablement à faire évoluer nos modèles.
Auchan has discovered its megastores or hypermarkets have fallen out of favor with shoppers. It's a problem across the sector, with in-store traffic falling by 2.6% in 2018. Many shoppers now preferring grocery stores closer to home. Between 2008 and 2018, the number of mini-markets in city centers increased by 35%. The coronavirus has only accelerated the trend, as shoppers prefer to either order online and pick up their groceries or have them delivered. As part of restructuring efforts, Auchan says it will create 600 new jobs in its digital department to meet the demand for online commerce, which is booming. The sector is France's largest private employer with around 657,000 employees.
Now, after the huge falls in technology shares that we saw in recent days, Wall Street had the first signs of a bounce back in trading on Wednesday. That positive trend carrying over into most Asian markets today. Gains in Tokyo on the Nikkei and on the Kospi in Seoul. Shanghai and Hong Kong were trading up earlier. They've just turned into the red towards the end of the trading day there. In Europe, at the start of trading, not much movement on European share markets, although technology shares are seeing some gains. Investors will be keeping a close eye on the European Central Bank later for its latest monetary policy decision. Christine Lagarde and her team facing, of course, what to do about the ongoing economic crisis in the Eurozone and the strong euro, which has been something that has been gaining over the past couple of weeks.
Now, finally from Stephen, the bank JP Morgan, they've actually fired a number of employees. This is after they apparently got money from the US government's COVID funds.
The Financial Times says that several employees have lost their jobs after it emerged they had improperly applied for and received money from the American government's Business Rescue Fund. The Economic Injury Disaster Loan Scheme has been giving grants and loans to firms that were hurt by the pandemic. The JP Morgan workers that got that money weren't using their position at the bank to get it, but it does go against the lender's code of conduct, which is why they lost their jobs. It was discovered, though, when the staff deposited what was considered to be suspicious funds in their bank accounts at the bank that they work for.
You would have thought they'd be a little bit more careful. But anyway, obviously.